What's up, MourN here again, and today I'm going to give a slight overview of my account, just to let everybody know where I am in the game, to see how I compare to others, and to see if I'm actually qualified to give any advice that I've been giving. So right now, I'm on Nightmare 350. I don't really have a chance to beat this right now because I don't think Sylvia is the answer. She dies way too fast, and it's quite frustrating. My team that I use primarily for bosses is Matthew, Margaret, Genji, Sylvia, and August. The formation lineup just depends on where everything hits. This big toad guy hits the back row, and he hits hard. So for me, it's important to have someone like August or Sylvia in the back to survive. And through testing, I've realized that August also doesn't survive very easily, and Sylvia is the best chance, but she gets silenced, and then these other little tunes, they poison her. And anyone who knows Sylvia knows dot is not the way to go. Let's see, moving on. Let's go to my manner. My manner is nothing impressive. It is quite honestly a function within the game that I don't care about. It's not important to me, so I just keep it efficient to everything bunched in certain areas so I can easily get what I need when I need it. Minus ruins. Minus. I'm on floor 125 now. The floors get very hard as you go up. As you see, this particular floor is difficult. I just arrived at it yesterday, and this guy is not that big a deal, the big dwarf monster, dwarf warrior, because he doesn't do too much. Sylvia can easily block him, and it doesn't matter because he hits one enemy. The problem is these guys. These guys burn, and once again, as within campaign, dot just decimates your team, to include Sylvia. These guys are also not a big deal because even in stun, Sylvia will still block. The only thing that I've seen that she will not block, I believe, is disarm. I could be mistaken on that. In Expedition, I haven't completed it today. I haven't completed it. No big deal. I can go right through it. I can skip every battle, and I don't really need to watch anything. The arena I normally place in the top 3. This last season, I fell asleep and got bumped out of it. But some of the more problematic people that I have to go against within our rankings is Jennifer VN from Valkyries. Her Margaret is incredibly slow. I was talking about slow Margrets in the previous video. A speed of 123. What this means is in a front row, without a Meryl to active, she's almost guaranteed to go off and hit you with an active. So she's taking all that damage from the front row, which I normally get her very close to dead, and then she heals completely back up. It's very annoying, but it is a very viable strategy within the arena. My arena team varies. Right now, my defensive lineup is similar to my campaign lineup, except I use Sarah. Sarah is the PvP goddess of death. She stops actives, which can really hinder most teams. When I fight Jennifer, I actually get rid of August and I put in Michelle because Michelle is a better hero to fight against those Margarets. On the boss. The best boss of them all. I'm actually going to run a battle through it 3 times speed so everyone can also see what I was talking about in the previous battle. This thing just destroys my team. And I use Lee against the bosses. Well, not this boss. I use Michelle against this boss. Let me make sure her gearing is right. Use Michelle with the energy ore. I'll get into my heroes here in a few moments. But this boss is a nightmare. I have it now to where my Margret is fast enough that she'll actually get an active in the second round before he uses his active, which is great because I can do a lot of damage in a short amount of time. But as soon as he uses his active, I'm done. You see, Margret hit with a normal attack. It took half her life. Well, they're surviving. Well, everybody's going to die now. Well, Genji survived. Oh, and Margret survived. Well, not much longer. So she survived, and then he went on his active, and he killed her the next round because she pretty much killed herself. The nice thing about having Michelle is I'll be able to eventually res the 2 heroes that died. The damage output is the only problem. I can't seem to get enough damage to pass that 3.1 million threshold very often, and it is quite frustrating. But this is the team that I have had the best luck with. Michelle killed herself, so she didn't actually res anybody. I'm going to go to the end. I'm not going to hit the max damage. I've only hit it once, that 3.018 million. I've only hit it one time. I've come close a second time, but it's nearly impossible for me. Now let's go over heroes. So here are my heroes, and I'll start with the Forest faction and just work my way around. The heroes that I mostly use within Forest are Matthew, and on his gearing, I want to go for hit points. And as you can see, I high rolled hit points and block there, so those are very good skills. That's why I haven't upgraded to better armor, because I do have other sets. I've just not rolled anything with hit points like this. Another very high roll on hit points, plus 9%. The only other hero that I really use within the Force faction is Cynthia, because Cynthia is kind of a do-all hero within Forest. She doesn't provide much healing, but she provides a little bit. She provides shielding early on, which can keep you alive if you fight something that you can kill quickly, but they can also kill quickly in you. And she has CC. So she's great at everything but bosses, because you can't CC bosses. In Ocean, the 2 heroes that I want to be A5 are A5. The problem is resource accumulation is so low that it's hard for me to regress my Sylvia, because you see I have a plus 20 artifact. I had to invest so many of those scrolls to get the block. And I need block for her to be optimal, because I don't have gear where it's great block rates. I mean, I have block on all of them, but I think One Piece didn't even get a plus to block. Yeah, my armor doesn't even have a plus to block, just the normal 6%. But that said, my block rate with the rune stones, which I'll go over what I have within there also, is 105%. In most situations, I have found that anything over 100% block on Sylvia is wasted, because she blocks even now within campaign. I don't have an issue with her not blocking. It's just the damage is so heavy that she doesn't live through it. That's why I'm under the firm impression that this guy, Berea, is going to be better late game, because his healing is based off his blocking, but he automatically gets 70% of his attack and healing. So he could potentially, if he had the same stats as Sylvia, heal 7,000 plus 15,000. So he'd be healing 20 plus thousand each time, 22,000 each time. And that's not even with Matthew's blessing. With Matthew's blessing, Sylvia just gets up to 22. Berea would far exceed that. In Chaos, I've had a lot of luck in Chaos. I've never used factions on Chaos. I just get Chaos often. Margret is the best Chaos hero hands down. There are different ways you can build her. I prefer to use the Twilight Ore, because I like the idea of the crit and the attack, because as everyone knows, attack boosts her dot, and that's where she deals the most damage. That's where you make money off Margret. For equipment, I don't have great equipment because this was the very first full set that I got and I went ahead and upgraded it. But it's not bad. For equipment on her, I look for attack, hit points, fortitude, and crit damage because those are most important to her. Speed on Margret is not a big deal, with few exceptions, and the Gemlord is about it. Margret you want going last because she can active on the first turn, and if she's built with crit and crit damage, she's going to heal full because her skill heals her 55% of the damage dealt, and she's already dealing 400%. So things like block break, crit damage, and crit percentage are going to be very good on her. The only time I suggest the green ore on her, which a lot of players really like, and it's not a bad ore, is when you're slot wanting her for PvP. Other than that, I don't think it's necessary because it's definitely more beneficial on Matthew. And right now my Matthew heals anywhere from 110k to like 170k. He heals her full health every time he heals. So that's like having double healing for her. On to Light Faction. I have used so many faction scrolls on Light. That's why my Light is where it's at. My very first D5 was actually August, and that's just because I kept getting copies of him. Light, you have a lot of good heroes. August currently is actually wearing the first set that I upgraded. I just did it yesterday because he needs to be fast. August is one of those weird tanks because of his ability to make your whole team better. Him going first in PvP could change the outcome of a fight because Sylvia hits you with something and she's already hitting everybody, but he adds +4 damage, +4 armor level. And armor level, for each level, it reduces the damage by 5%. So that's mitigating, let's look at Sylvia again. That's mitigating her armor break level. So she's just doing natural damage as opposed to 25% more. I like to look for him. I wouldn't worry about anything but defensive stats. He doesn't need attack. He doesn't need crit. He doesn't need crit damage. He doesn't need block break because he's not going to do any damage anyway. He's just bad at damage. I mean, he can survive 15 full rounds and deal like 10,000 damage where everybody else is in the millions. I'm currently working on for my PvP team to be August, Michelle, Meryl, Sarah, and Morgana. I think Morgana is going to be a late game sleeper hero. A lot of people were rating her really low in the early tier lists, but I don't think that's a legitimate rating. I think she's going to be very strong, and she disables passives. That means no more Sylvia block, no more Berea block, no more Margret dot. And that one, can't wait to get to test her out. But in the current meta on server 1, on these early servers, is we can't really go into arena with anything less than an A4 because it just gets melted by all the Margrets, which are literally everywhere. And then we'll move on. I completed Mirror today, and I left the rewards open just to talk about them real quick. These Splendid Shards are garbage. It is not worth 5,000 gems under any circumstance. And even these scrolls, I wouldn't mess with these scrolls either. I just don't think there's much value to them, especially once you get the rolls you want on something you don't need them anymore. And they're rather expensive. Now, on to my rune stones. I did whale out, and I did buy all 100 on the last event. They are the rarest thing you can get in the game right now, and they are super important because each day, gems are pretty easy to come by. Each day, I can go and just reset it and go all the way back up to this and get an extra Netherworld boss fight, which is great because instead of 3 copies with the Gemlord exception, I'm getting 4 copies of a hero. And that's better than summons, because summons really don't have a high rate. I know the video I published, the rates were phenomenal, but that's not normal. That's quite surprising. My Tower of Trials, I missed a day on light. I don't know when. It happens. It's not that I'm struggling to push up light or any of them, to be honest. Yeah, I haven't even done it today. I haven't really been on much today, at all today. Tavern. I completed that today. I did log in and do that. But this is what a high-end account close to in-game. I'm not in-game because in-game really involves a lot of artifacts, and the artifact shards, the increase becomes so large that it's too hard to get. I will be doing another summon video before much longer. I won't be doing factional summons, as you see. I only have 6, but I'm saving up until I get 210 because I feel that if you have more, you have a better chance to get more things you can use. Well, that concludes my account overview video. Sorry, this one was much longer than the others, and it wasn't intentional. I was just trying to go over everything, and I really wanted to highlight how awful fighting the Gemlord is. It doesn't matter what stage of the game you're in, this thing is terrible. Normally, I'm dealing like close to 10 million damage on bosses. I'm at the top of the leaderboard with 2.5 million. Yesterday, I had 10.5 million. So, DH Games, fix the Gemlord boss. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, subscribe. Sorry about the light. I'm in the middle of a move across the ocean, so I'm making do with what I got right now. Thank you. Subscribe if you like what you see.